Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Golfran Rivera. I am a board certified physician assistant. I practice family medicine and sports medicine here in beautiful Fayetteville, North Carolina, at my local family medicine and sports medicine clinic here at TrueCare DPC. So I wanted to make this video because it's a topic that continuously comes up that I get asked in this area. What is direct primary care? So let's go ahead and jump right in. Here's what I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to talk to you about health insurance. Okay, I'm going to address some misconceptions about health insurance and some important things we have to keep in mind. We'll talk about the direct primary care model, DPC, the benefits of it, what are the limitations. I'll get into specifics regarding my practice, TrueCare DPC, and then I'll address some of the most commonly asked questions about it. So, getting into health insurance. So, health insurance is a contract. It's a contract between either with you or your employer and a health insurance provider. Okay. In that contract, depending on the type of plan you get, the health insurance provider agrees to cover different medical costs. And again, the plan that you choose determines what kind of medical costs are covered. And you have to understand that a health insurance plan is never, ever in any way free. Okay. This is a big misunderstanding that people have. So if you get employer sponsored health insurance, that's not free. Okay, what happens is your employer has an agreement with the insurance company to cover your medical costs, whatever they are according to the plan. And then your employer is going to take from your wages to help either offset or fully cover those costs. When I was working for a big box company here in the area, my proposed salary differed by almost $10,000 a year based off of whether or not I took their insurance package. And in Fayetteville, a lot of y'all have that fancy TRICARE and VA Champ, right? So as a veteran who has TRICARE, I can tell you without a doubt, it is in no way, shape, or form free. All right, it cost me 13 years of my life, time away from friends and family, important memories with my children, and I was medically discharged, so it cost me my physical well-being, not to mention the fact that taxpayers kind of cover some of that cost as well. So Medicaid, Medicare, we all know this is government sponsored, which is a euphemism for taxpayer paid health insurance. Okay, so never ever free. The other thing about health insurance is that it does not equal access to care. All right, if you're in this area, you know exactly what I mean, right? You contact your primary care clinic, and it turns out you won't be able to be seen by your provider for a month, sometimes even more than that. And that's a real problem for people that are new in the area and have been being followed for chronic medical conditions who need medication refills, which is why a lot of people in this area depend on urgent cares to meet the gaps of care. So doesn't just because you have health insurance doesn't mean you have access to care, right? The other thing is that a lot of people do not know this. Health insurance actually contributes to the increasing cost in medical care. Now, it's not just health insurance. There's other players out there that are involved. It's a whole nother video. But the thing is health insurance companies, in order for practices to get compensated by them, they need to provide billing codes, the proper billing codes. And so if the proper billing codes are not being used, then the health insurance company will not pay for a claim, or will pay less than what maybe is deserved by when you think about the care that was provided. So what clinics do is they hire billing teams to make sure that clinicians are using the right billing codes. So now that you now have to hire somebody, you have to pay wages for that service. The other thing is that health insurance companies infamously like to practice medicine without a license using their medical algorithms, which if a clinician who is practicing both the science and the art of medicine tries to deviate from their algorithm, because I don't know if you know this, individual patients have individual needs and have individual requirements. And so a fancy algorithm may not quite fit the mold. Because insurance companies do try to keep things within their algorithm, they often require prior authorization for labs, prior authorization for imaging, prior authorization for medications, which is very common. Now, prior authorizations, are very tedious. Okay, I spent 1 week for one single patient, going back and forth, trying to get an authorization approved for this patient. So what practices will do is they'll hire a whole individual to just process prior authorizations throughout the day. That's another staff member you need just to deal with the insurance companies. And the other thing is that because insurance companies make their money by collecting premiums and avoiding payment, that's just the model for insurance. We all know that. Many times what practices have to do to make up that loss is bring in more patients, right? Which, when you bring in more patients, you fill up the calendar and you take up time, which makes it so that less and less people can be seen sooner and sooner, right? The other thing is that insurance is often inflexible. Now, it depends on the type of policy that you get, for sure, but they're generally inflexible. If you want more flexibility, you usually have to pay more for that flexibility. I'm sure you've heard of network providers, right? This is where insurance companies contract with providers who have agreed to provide medical care and accept that insurance company as payment. And what insurance companies will usually do is, if you do not use a network provider, they will not cover the costs, again, reducing the flexibility. But it does depend on the plan. And if you pay more for the plan, you might get more flexibility. Now, let's jump into direct primary care. So DPC, it's a model of healthcare where patients pay directly to their clinician for comprehensive primary care services. A flat monthly fee, direct access to your provider via phone, via email, via video chat, direct one-on-one access with your clinician. Very rarely will there be a medical assistant or some other staff that interrupts that relationship. It's a personalized relationship between the patient and the clinician. So the patient is a member of the practice, not the insurance company. So there's no middleman, right? And usually you can be seen in less than a week. Sometimes even same day or next day, depending on what's going on. And because it's a membership that you pay ahead, it's transparent pricing, predictable costs, no surprise billing. You're not going to go to the clinic, think everything's good, and then get hit with the bill afterwards because your insurance company said they wouldn't cover this, that, or the other. And of course, there's less administrative burdens because we're not fighting with insurance companies, so we don't have to have any hidden fees. Everything is clear up front. Now, there are some limitations to this, right? In Fayetteville, at least, and in the surrounding area, there's not a lot of specialty cares that embrace this model. So, general surgery, orthopedics, obstetrics, and gynecology. There are some, in other parts of the country that are starting to use this, but not in the area. The other thing is DPC does not cover emergency costs, right? Emergency services. So it's not going to pay for the EMT. It's not going to pay for the ER visit or hospitalization. There's also upfront costs that we all have to consider, right? You got to pay to be a member, and that may be an obstacle for many people, especially in this area. The other thing is that DPC typically is not all inclusive, so the membership will pay for visits to see your primary care and whatever services they include, but it won't pay for pharmaceuticals, it won't pay for imaging, it won't pay typically it won't pay for labs. Now, with that being said, at TrueCare DPC, I am able to give my patients discounts, steep discounts, for their membership based on their income. You can see more information at the website. I do offer low-cost labs, sometimes even less than 50% of what you usually pay at LabCorp. And I get an example I like to give. If we're just doing routine labs like a CBC, a CMP, and a lipid panel, you're going to pay less than $15 for that. Even if we include a thyroid screening, you're going to pay less than $15 for that with me, which is oftentimes less than a copay. You are going to get personalized care with me. I do take a holistic approach where I consider the mind, the body, and the soul in your care and how it's affecting your health. And you're going to get no less than 30 minutes, sometimes up to 60 minutes. Sometimes, depending on my schedule, we may extend it longer if we need to. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I can order imaging. I do prescribe medications as needed, and I'm able to help my patients get discounts. I had a young man the other day who's a member of my practice. We got him an x-ray of the ankle for $35. His membership already covered the visit with me. He ends up ultimately paying less than what he would at an urgent care. I do offer minor in-office procedures, so nail avulsions, right? So I'll remove nails for ingrown toenails. I can do simple suturing, skin biopsies, things of that nature, just like any other family medicine clinic. And my patients can usually see me in person less than a week for the next appointment. Again, like I said, sometimes same day, and they can text me regularly throughout the day. On weekends, I may or may not get back to them on weekends, but they have access to me via phone, via email. And then my membership cost is $99 a month per adult, $25 a month per child between the ages of 5 and 17. And like I said at the beginning here, I do offer discounts to the membership based on your income. So let's close this out by covering some commonly asked questions. How much does it cost? I already covered that for my practice. It varies by practice. Again, $99 for adults over the age of 18, $25 for children between the age of 5 and 17, with discounts offered for income-based considerations. What if I have insurance? A lot of my patients have insurance. Many of them have TrueCare. And the insurance will pay for imaging, for pharmaceuticals, for referrals that I make, just not for my business. I don't accept insurance, right? But what about covering services outside of primary care? Again, if you have insurance, your insurance company will cover those. If you do not have insurance, I work with clinics to get cash-based pricing for my patients, right? I can do referrals on a regular basis. Do I take walk-ins? Absolutely not. That's why I haven't provided my address, because this is a membership-based practice. This is a relationship between you and me. So if you're going to come in, we're going to talk beforehand. I'm going to let you know what my availability is. I'm going to work with you to get you in. I try to be very flexible with people. I've done appointments as early as 6:30 in the morning. I've done appointments as late as 7 in the evening, because these are my members. These aren't just my patients. These aren't just medical cases. These are members of my practice. Do I do single visits? The only single visits I'm doing right now is the sports physicals, and school physicals, and occupational exams, and those are $25 a pop. And again, same thing. You got to reach out to me. I got to make sure that my members don't need to see me sooner, and then I'll try to squeeze you in if I can. Okay. So with that quick review, we talked about health insurance, right? It has its place. It does have its place, but it does not equal access to care. And it's never free, okay? It is never free. Direct primary care gives you direct access to your clinician with predictable costs. And I didn't actually say this, but it isn't. So I said it wasn't all inclusive, but it's something I should have added. It can be supplemented with high deductible saving plan type of insurance policies, where you pay a high deductible for specialty care and emergency care, but your premium is super low, so that it's not expensive for you to have direct primary care membership. All right. So with that, thank you guys again for taking the time to watch this video. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment down below. And if you know anybody who may be interested in this kind of thing, share this video with them. And again, you are more than welcome to follow me over there on Facebook. You can look me up at TrueCare DPC. My website is www.truecaredpc.com. And once again, I am Golfran Alejandro Rivera. I practice family medicine and sports medicine here in beautiful Fayetteville, North Carolina at TrueCare DPC. Thank y'all. God bless you. Thank you for watching.